Money habits that keep people broke. I would say the first thing is not investing at all. And the reason why not investing at all.
What should they invest in?
So the first thing is outside of investing in yourself, because the reason why people are broke or people lack the money they should because they don't know how to operate money. They don't know how to spend money. They don't know how to invest money. They don't know how to save money. They don't know how to lend money. Okay. So those are 4 important things.
In investing?
Just money principles. Learning how to save, learning how to spend. Right, so I always say that if you have more money under your bed or in your closet than you have in your bank account or in your investment account, you don't know how to spend money. Right, so one is learning how to spend, learning how to save, learning how to invest, learning how to borrow. Right, so those are 4 important things just in money lessons, money principles. Right, so if you don't invest your money, then you're now saying that the only way that I can grow my money is based on what I can physically do.
Right, time for money.
Right, time for money, which is never an even exchange because you can't work 24 hours a day, but your money can. Like you need a break, you need rest, you need lunch, but your money doesn't. So the most powerful one is just not investing at all. Right, the next one is spending money that we don't have. I read a stat that said most people spend $1.04 for every $1 that they make. So now we're spending more money than we actually have. At that point, you can never catch up. So I remember when I used to work my job, when I was working, right? I remember when I would get overtime. I would always figure out how much of that overtime was, and I will always account for it in my head. So most people do that. If they get overtime, they've already spent that money before it hits the paycheck.
Yeah.
They already know what they're gonna spend it on. So spending money we don't have, and then most important is just buying things we don't need. Right? Most people don't have the financial fortitude to be strong enough to say, you know what, I don't need this. Right? Most people impulse buy. Right? So impulse buying, after that gratification is gone. After that, you release those endorphins. Now it's like, damn, I really didn't need that. But it's too late because you've already bought it. Right? So those are 3 important things. Just before we even dig deep and just going into other things that are anchoring us to like poverty and not being where we want to be and financial abundance, all those amazing things. Those 3 things are most important. Not investing, spending money that you don't have, and not having that financial fortitude to not buy the things you don't need. Right? Like you buy some shoe, like, do we need every pair of tennis that come out, every pair of J's that come out? Right? Does the woman need every dope bag that she sees? Right? I'm not saying that it's not cool, but you need every one. Right? So I think having that financial fortitude not to spend on those things that you don't need, that'll like catapult you on a journey. Because the more money you don't spend on things you don't need, now double back to the more things you can invest in. Right, and that's truly the key to wealth. It's not entrepreneurship, which is dope, but building wealth is for everybody.
All right, so hold on. So not entrepreneurship. Everybody thinks that's the path.
Yeah.
Like you, I don't think that's the right path for everybody. It's way too hard. It's way too stressful. You should only do it if you can't bear to not do it. But how is wealth for everybody? For real, for real. Because right now, as we're recording this, we're in a recession. I don't know if you would say that, but
yes,
I will. And I'm angry at the government for playing word games.
Yes.
By the normal metric, we are in a recession. I think things are going to get worse before they get better. And I think people need to understand how to navigate money to make it through this, or it is going to be a bloodbath in the streets. I've heard you say, and this is just factually true, the people that suffer in a recession are the middle and low class.
100%.
So it's like the people who know the least about money are the ones that are going to get battered by what we're about to go through. Yeah. So how do we navigate this period? What is it so we know the mistakes that people make. Why do they make them? And how are you going to help people out of that?
All right, so first let's just double back to entrepreneurship, right? So you don't have to be an entrepreneur to build wealth, right? So we know that entrepreneurship is the underlying catalyst to America, right? So someone having a brave idea to step out and say, I want to build this business, and then that business contributes to humanity.
How do you know that?
How do I know what?
That you just said something that most people would never in a million years put the sentence together, that America's built on the back of entrepreneurship.
Oh.
Do you look at history? Like, where did you hear that?
Yeah. So you study history. So for me, I think in order to build wealth, you have to understand where did it originate from, right? And so if we live in America, let's say, okay, how did America become America? Of course, we can double down and say America was built on the backs of slavery and, you know, people did corrupt business and all that. But at the end of the day, it's built on entrepreneurship. Someone having an idea, someone having a vision, and being willing to do whatever it took to make that vision come through, right? Being able to say, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to persevere. This is how we get here.
All right, you're building a business. One of two things is true. You either don't have money, and so you need somebody that can help you get the things moving that you need to then generate the capital. Okay, I'm sure people have heard the phrase, it takes money to make money, which isn't entirely true, but certainly as you scale, that is very true. You have to pay employees and all that. Okay, so it takes money to make money. So you're building a business, you need the capital. You can get somebody to give you money early on. You can make a little bit of money and reinvest it yourself. But what most people do is either they need that money or they've managed to get the company going. This is what happened to me at Quest. So you get the company going, you don't have to take money from other people in the beginning, but all of your money is in the company. So I was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and I couldn't access it. I'm driving a beat up car. And so it's like, I'm rich on paper, but in actuality, not so much. Okay, so one of those two things is true. I either need money to get this thing going, or all the value that I've been able to build is trapped in equity in the company. So to unleash some of that value, they create shares. You're now a public company, and this is what you're talking about. So hey, you've got this, JP Morgan realizes, I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm not gonna be able to build something. But these entrepreneurs are in a tricky situation. They're maybe brilliant with business, but they have another need. And so as they go public, which is just creating shares out of your company. It's a very technical
Breaking
thing.
it down to pieces.
Exactly. Breaking it into pieces. Now you're going to sell those pieces to the public. They can then buy a piece of that entrepreneur's endeavor, right? A piece of that company. And so now the entrepreneur or the business, depending on if they're selling their personal shares or if the company's selling treasury shares, either the company has just gained a ton of money or that individual has taken money off the table and now they've actually got real wealth, which always makes me laugh when people think that Jeff Bezos has $190 billion. His company is worth that. He doesn't have that unless he sells the shares. So anyway, so now it's like, whoa. So as an average person, I can go buy a piece of these storied companies. But what I really want people to understand, you just went and learned that. Like I can't tell you how late I came to this game. You figured this out before I did. I was building businesses already. This is why I'm so fucking in awe. When I think about how far down the road I learned the game of building businesses. You learned the game of buying businesses. Okay, maybe people don't want to do the thing that I did. Some days I wonder. And you went down another road, which is available to everybody.
100%. Okay,
so now the people have their little primer in how all of this game works. One, why don't people do it? In fact, let's start there. We'll definitely talk about how to do it well, but why don't people do it?
I think because America has painted this picture that it is dangerous. So think about TV.
I'm gonna lose my money.
I'm gonna lose my money. Stock market crashes, right? And then every show that you've seen about Wall Street is about people that are crooked, that take advantage of people's money and then get rich, you know, and so people don't associate with that, right? People feel like, you know what, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't know enough about that, right? When investing in the stock market isn't an IQ game. It's not about being the most brilliant person in the world. Right? It's about understanding basic economics. And basic economics is what we know every day. You understand this, supply and demand. Right? Supply and demand says that if Michael Jordan drops a shoe, then the line is going to be wrapped around the corner. Right? But if you find a way to get that shoe, hold on to that shoe, and then later on, you can now sell that shoe at a top tier price. Right? Supply and demand. Right? If we can understand that, you understand certain parts of basic economics. Right? You understand that.
If Michael Jordan were to release 100 million shoes, won't be worth much.
Won't be worth.
But if he releases
1,000,
exactly, now
price
gonna go crazy, and then over time it becomes worth even more because most people will wear the shoes, lower the value, but for anybody that holds on to them, so now you've got decreasing supply, which creates even if the demand stayed steady, if the supply decreases, now you've got a positive dynamic.
100%.